Okay, what I'm going to show you now is how to join our two roof purlins together. So using your 200mm connector, just nest that in with one of your roof purlins, just centralising that. Just put 2 screws in one side, flip it over. Now grab your other purlin, and just nest that in, and same again, 2 screws in each side. Okay, what we're going to do now is our frame assembly. So we've laid out our pieces for our frame. We've got our 2 outer uprights. We've got our centre upright that's boxed. We've got our top cords and obviously our mid rails. So we just got to connect all these together. So we start on the top corner first, just making sure that when you join these 2 together, that the valley part of the frame on the outer side and the top cord are just touching, as you can see there. And then we just need to put a screw in that. And do same to the other side. Okay, once you've done your corners, your top corners, then we need to do the centre. Okay, so your top cord sits over the very top of your centre upright. Again, just pushing down on it. Putting 1 screw in there. Okay, once you've got your top corners screwed into place, you've got your top centre screwed in. We just take a measurement there, make sure your height's correct. That'll be in your instruction manual. Now it's time to put in our mid rails. So again, using the measurements on your instruction manual, just need to measure up for where these mid rails are going to be positioned, making sure that the top of the mid rail is in line with your mark, and also making sure that this side post is pushed in hard up against this mid rail. Now you've got some pre-punched holes there provided, so 2 screws in. And then we just need to do the same with the other 4 mid rails. Okay, now we've screwed off our mid rails. What we need to do is obviously just check for squareness, so you just check your diagonals, make sure that's right. And then we just need to put our rectangular plate on the top centre here. So just align your plate, just making sure that it's flush with your top cord, nothing sticking out from it. Okay, once we've done that, now it's time to flip the frame over and screw the other ones in position. Okay, now we've flipped that frame over. Exactly the same process as what we did before. We'll start in our corners, then do our centre top, and then screw our mid rails in. Okay, once we've done that process of putting our mid rails in, screwing everything off, again just checking your diagonals, making sure this frame's nice and square. Last process is to put your triangle plate on. Okay, that frame's finished now, so we can put that aside, start the next one. All right, we're doing our next frame assembly now, which is our centre frame of our garage. So we've got our upright here that's been boxed, and that's 2 pieces joined together. We've got our singular piece for our top cord. Now we've got to make sure that the corner of this top cord is flush with the corner of our post, as you can see there. And we just need to put one screw in there. Do the same again with the other side. Again, making sure the two corners are flush with each other. Okay, once we've got the corners, then we need to make sure we've got our correct height. So what we need to make sure here is our two top cords basically are touching down the bottom here, and our small boxed piece sits underneath that. But again, making sure that the edge is flush with the edge of the top cord. Nothing sticks out, as you can see there. Two pieces flush with each other, and same again on that side. And these two are touching down here, the two top cords. And just get a measurement. Again, just checking your instruction manual. Okay, so once you're happy with your height, again, just one screw in each top cord there into your diagonal brace. Okay, we've got our corners done. We've got our peak locked into position. We're happy with our height. Now we've just got to lock in our brace there. So just making sure you're equal distance from each side, and again making sure that this brace doesn't protrude the top cord. It's nice and flush, as you can see. And again, just one screw in there to hold it. Okay, so once you've got that locked into place, check your diagonals again for squareness. So that measurement should be the same as what was on your other frames. Once you're happy with that, then you can screw that off. We'll flip it over and do exactly the same to the other side. All right, so once we've flipped that frame over, we now need to do exactly the same process. So again, starting in your corners, making sure that the corner of the frame is flush. So once we've got our screw in the corner, then we need to go back to our center. Again, making sure that little brace there doesn't come past the frame. And then another one in our brace over here. Do the same with the other side, screwed that off. Okay, once we've got those screwed into position, now we need to box our top cords. So grabbing our piece and just sitting that inside the two edges. As you can see, they nest inside each other, and again, making sure they're nice and flush on each end. And you just need to put screws in those, about every 300, just working your way along, top and bottom. Okay, now we're going to work on our frame assembly for our front frame. So similar process to what we've been using for our other frames. We start in our corners first, get that right, then we work in towards the highest point on the frame. So again, like all the other frames, just making sure that the two valleys of those frames are flush with each other. And again, just one screw in. Next we move on to this part here. You just got to make sure that that's pushed up hard against the top cord. Again, just one screw in there to hold it in. Okay, now we need to do the same with the other side. Okay, what I'm going to show you now is how to attach your multi-purpose bracket onto your frame. So just making sure that the bracket is flush with the edge of the frame and the sides. You've got some pre-punched holes in this bracket. Use them as a guide. can use a pair of multi-grips or something like that just to hold that bracket in place so it doesn't move. Once we've attached our top mullion to our header beam and our top cords, we need to do the same with our bottom mullion. Okay, once we've got our corners, our H section and our mullion locked into our top cord, we then need to work on securing our header beam to our H sections. So using your instruction manual for the correct measurement to come up from the bottom, just align your header beam with that mark. Do the same to the other side. Okay, we need to do the same with our centre mullion. Lock that into your header beam. Make sure you're centralised. Okay, once we've got our header beam locked into our mullions, then we can work on our side rails. Slide your 620mm piece in to your frame. Using the pre-punched holes, just put a screw, just one in for the moment, just to get everything in place, and then we can take some diagonal measurements to make sure everything's square. 1270. Okay, now we need to put in our diagonal bracing. So just position above the multi-purpose bracket, making sure the tabs go over either side of the mullion. Just push that hard up in there. Needs to slide over the top cord. Again, pushing up nice and hard. Need to do the same with the other one. Okay, now we need to put in our diagonal bracing for each side. So you notice you've got your notch out here in your diagonal brace. That sits over that framework and tucks up nice and hard into the corner. And again, using the notch out in that piece, that sits over your H section like so. And then we do the same at the top. Nice and tucked up into the corner and sitting over the H section, and we just need to screw them off. Okay, once we've got that diagonal bracing now in place, everything's screwed off this side. We take our diagonal measurements just to make sure everything's square. Now it's time to flip the frame over and do exactly the same to the other side. Okay, now we've flipped that frame over. Same process as before, so starting in your corners, making sure they're flush, working your way up to that center point, getting your height, making sure that's correct, and then screwing all that off. Okay, once we've locked in our top cord, then we need to work on all our diagonal bracing and the rest of our header beam, screw all that off. Again, just double check your diagonal for square, and then that frame's complete, ready to be stood.